The battle begins.
And in the red, iDream on Sylvanas. K1 Pro will be playing Kale Thos, Arthalon on Tassadar. Dunk Train playing Brightwing, and King Caffeine on Dahaka. Let's hear it for Cloud9!
Well, what are you waiting for?
Already out the gates, let's talk about Vola.
Okay.
I've given my position on how I'm already questioning her, and also look at the Sylv play here a little bit. She's actually on top. They aren't doing too much on the bottom half of the map, but they're gonna feint it looks like. All right, but anyways, she goes into Q build, and I thought the reasoning was gonna be kind of the frost shots where you maximize your W range, get the frost shot. Illidan just chases forever post 13. Probably not going to be the case. It is an option, but I just kind of expected to go otherwise. So we're going to see a Q build most likely coming out of Vola. Maybe it'll be that caster hybrid for maximized damage oh my goodness, words are hard. Optimization here at this point.
Okay, I'm excited too. We're at game number 5 between these teams. We got to the final game.
Uh-oh, Dahaka popping up there, fan. With the double global moving in very aggressive. That was why they feigned to the bottom lane. I was confused a little bit at first, but Kemba actually trying to get in a flank here. Timing of his stun is going to be crucial here. iDream, look at, he's positioning himself around his E there. Kenma.
Beautiful body blocks for the drag, pulling Kenma back to the base of the red team. Cloud9 still not quite getting a kill, and Naventic takes first blood.
They did take first blood here. Really well done, the double global popping up, but it wasn't going to be enough here. Naventic has already secured the first kill with a great play coming out from Kenma. I mean, man, that guy, I feel like his Uther has stood out really, really well this tournament. He very much understands the aggression that he can provide to the early game and seems to abuse it as well as he possibly can here. But other than that, nothing too crazy. I want to keep in mind as well, Fan actually going to be in a rough spot. Polymorph coming out with the counter engage here. Uh-oh, Caffeine maybe in a position here. Stormbolt is going to be chained up as well, but he will be able to survive.
I like too that if you watch how they engage there, you see a mounted Muradin coming from one bush, a mounted Uther from the other, trying to make sure that they can converge on one point, maximize the time that they have someone stunned. Didn't quite work out for them before, but that's been a constant for them as long as Kenma's been on that Uther, making sure that he's mounted and ready to get the first stun of many for the team.
One thing I want to point out is Mana Addict was picked up by Kel'Thas. And this is a build that has been viable more in the Asian scenes. It's typically done with a very defensive one, speccing more into his passive Verdant Spheres, actually, which is not going to be the case. So worried about the defensiveness later until he gets that quest talent to be completely filled. He will not have that tool to be able to keep himself alive here. But look at the aggression already. McIntyre trying to force something to happen. Brightwing, it looks like she's going to be caught out. Polymorph, it's not going to be enough, but the tribute is going to fall to Sylvanas. Gravity Lapse coming out as well. But Naventic secures the kill, but tribute goes to Cloud9.
Brightwing down for a few more seconds, but she has the phase shift so she can polymorph back in once she is alive yet again. Arcane Barrage, the level 4 talent for her again. We saw that before. It's giving more of a range to the Arcane Flare, allowing her to more safely deny things like altar channels or even tribute channels here.
Yeah, Tassadar is going to be so very hard, or excuse me, Kel'Thas is going to be so very hard to kill when that happens, but it looks like the aggression, Fan trying to come in, not getting the body block, but look at it, he's going to be popping up. King Caffeine coming up with the Dahaka rotations again, trying to capitalize as best as he can. He has done such a great job here in this game to be able to secure the kills here, Gilly, and now they're making up the comeback. Kills are almost dead even, but Tribute going to Cloud9 already.
There's another one too. Brightwing staying in the top. Dahaka's there too, but he will probably brush stalker in. May choose to run so that he has the brush stalker afterward if that is what he wants, just to make sure that he can soak. Or they may just even give this one up as the rotations for both teams fairly slow to get there. But Sylvanas is there trying to start the channel. McIntyre will be the one to deny it until more rotations can come in. But Kel'Thas gets caught in this.
Yeah, Gravity Lapse missed by K1 Pro. Zuna was able to juke it, which ensured the kill there. Now the aggression coming out. Arthalon and Caffeine trying to backing out, but this is going to be a 4 versus 5. Zoning around Zuna because he is low on health. Look at Vola actually zoning Sylvanas as well below. That was really heads-up play coming out from them. And that kill is going to secure a tribute 1-1 here for Naventic.
1-1 and level 7 to level 7, both teams neck in neck. And man, the play so impressive for these teams considering the fact that this has been such a long day for them and a long series, going all the way to game number 5 between the teams. That can take a toll on you.
It can take a toll on them, and we're in a position to where Naventic has been able to get the Merc pressure onto them. They did get the Giants, now rotating to the Knights, applying the pressure whenever they possibly can. Waveclear is going to be decent on the side of Cloud9, so it's not going to be surprising. And they decide, great, we're going to back out, get some Mercs of our own, take these Giant camp, and see where the map objective is going to spawn, see if we can get a little bit of, you know, that good old luck, and hopefully be split pushing for us.
Looking at the Dahaka build, at level 4 there's a couple of different Essence Collections talents you can spec into, but this one will be one who collects, so Dahaka gets 50% more of that. Actually, hold on thought, because we're going to have a fight. Gravity Lab hits McIntyre, who's going to Dwarf Toss in with a great Stormbolt, trying to stop him from catching him. King Caffeine is nearly there, but a rotation from Naventic saving him, taking out Sylvanas.
But the drag is going to actually hit Kenma, but he's not taking any damage. The minions, the Night Camp that they captured actually soaked all the shots out in the mid lane, so they are not needing to worry about the damage there. What a brilliant turn there, and now the tributes spawning positionally in favor of Naventic. They're going to be able to pick this up. 2 tributes to 1 now. Gilly, oh my, the turns right there. McIntyre actually dwarfed us into the team and still survived.
That is believing in the power of your team, the power of friendship to rotate in and have his back. Just barely getting out of there, but that was enough to get another kill, 4-1. But man, Cloud9 are doing such a great job of keeping up in the experience.
Yeah, they have done a very good job, but that is the beauty of the globals that they do have. They make a rotation in the upper lane, and I am surprised Naventic has managed to have the XP lead that they do, even going into this with all those globals. Giant Camp is going to be timed again, trying to apply pressure with the map objective, but realistically, when you have the globals that you do on the side of Cloud9, those don't typically gain too much value, sadly.
Yeah, the best thing you can hope for is that it makes your opponent a little late to the party with that, and you might be able to get a kill in the amount of time that one of those globals is taking out the Mercenary Camp. Now both teams about to get heroic abilities. Strafe, the choice for Vala. Lots of area damage. Still considering for Uther. Divine Shield.
And Cloud9 now hitting 10 as well. No surprising heroics coming out from this team. Pretty much the standard across the board. They do have a tribute advantage for Naventic, and speaking of tributes, one is going to be spawning positionally in favor of Cloud9. Rotations are going to matter. Vala is a little bit slow here, taking a very safe route. Keep in mind, she will be behind a little bit. Falstad actually flying to try and catch up. Maybe if Dunk gets a little bit, be very, very quiet.
Oh, Pixie Dust makes sure that Dunk Train doesn't get hit by that hammering. The tribute is there, but they're split apart by the members of Naventic. Cloud9 trying just to get together. iDream on the other side of this, going to stall it out with the Banshees. King Caffeine drawing in Fan with the force wall down behind him. Polymorph into a lot of damage
Silencing
from the
arrows
Phoenix.
used.
And Fan now jumping on iDream, realizing that she is behind the wall, and Sylvanas will be the first blood in this fight as it rages on.
Straight producing a decent amount of damage there after Sylvanas has already managed to fall. Tribute is going to be captured here by Zuna. They are going to get a Cursed Giants are pushing in the top lane. That is something that must be addressed by Cloud9. I'm actually surprised Naventic actually didn't make the rotation to try and get a flank behind the fort. That is a common pattern that we see from coming out from them. But they're actually using their own bit of soak. I actually really like this call. So something a lot of people kind of maybe not know about this map is that if you don't soak all the lanes, even if you have the curse, it essentially you'll be losing more XP than your opponent traditionally if you don't get more than 2 forts. But they're going to dive it here for Naventic. Man, they are putting on a clinic this game. Other than losing 1 tribute at this point, they seem to be very much in control.
They are getting experience from the lanes, they're getting experience from structures, and they're even going to do so from some kills too. Naventic is on fire now with a level lead, looking to get their 13 talents, get that talent tier advantage. They've already brought down 1 fort. They have pushed the lanes in toward the other ones, and remember, there are 2 bosses available, and I see a convergence of blue team members up at that top.
Yeah, they are kind of posturing around. They're almost going to get the 13 talents here. I think they're going to be looking to get the fort. So now it's standard thing that we always see coming out of the curse here is that teams are very worried about the boss typically. Usually it's more of a deny than anything just because positionally it is going to be accented, but it's not always going to be the case. 13 now picked up. I want to see if it's going to be a frost shots. No, it's going to be spell shield instead to be able to try and deal with the kill toss. Actually, that's something maybe they felt like they took Vala because she's one of the few that can take spell shield and it doesn't lose too much. Yeah. Maybe that was one of the options they decided to opt into her.
We'll see if that pays off for them. They are 13. They picked up the spell shield as well as the rest of the talents. Even spell shield on Uther too.
Yeah.
So no shrink ray.
I do actually really like that, especially because they don't, outside of Kel'Thas, which you're probably out of position if you manage to get Shrink Ray on Kel'Thas.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where I actually really like that choice, but he is probably closing in here on his Mana Addict and will have a very good defensive tool here. Zuna's actually going to be epic fighting out at this point and going on to K1 Pro, getting it. The stun's going to come out. Brightwing's going to get the teleport, Gilly.
Yeah, and there's K1 Pro dropping pretty rapidly, shielding, keeping him alive for a bit, but McIntyre and the Stray bringing down not only Kel'Thas, but Brightwing too, and Dahaka's in trouble. Burrows down, trying just to get back into the range of his
my goodness!
Oh, 3 people down. King Caffeine falling to the hungering arrow, and Naventic taking a commanding lead in this fight. You loved that, didn't you?
It doesn't get any better than that. Zuno with a great play, flying to the mid lane, completely capitalizing, wiping 3 people. Actually, we're going to be able to revisit this. So wiping 3 people is Strafe doing an immense amount of damage to pick up there coming in because of the lack of supports. But then, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they're already destroying up here. He goes, guess what? I'm winning the 1v1 down below as well. And he lets you know by B-stepping you. I absolutely love that from them. Boss is going to be picked up here from Naventic. Not surprising considering they had a 4-man wipe at that point in time. Now, the boss isn't going to be doing that much. It's a 10-minute boss. It's not going to be that effective. But traditionally, that boss denial play that we were talking about is because it usually leads to a double boss play because the commitment of resources.
Absolutely. And that first boss goes to a fort. If they can get the second boss, that would go to a keep.
Yes.
And that's a lot of time where they can be soaking, they can get the next tributes, tie back up that tribute. It's nearly a full 2 level lead for Team Naventic. They could potentially, they're trying to get to 16, so they have a long window of time where they'll just completely run the entire map.
Yeah, and one thing I want to keep in mind as well, I always talk about this when you have the Odin, how open is the map? So obviously Curse is a little bit more open than the rest, but top fort is already gone down. Mid fort on the side of Cloud9 is almost going down, and bottom is, well, it's, as you put it, they're sneezable level of forts here. And when those do go down, Illidan will be able to thrive even more. The flight there, because they are worried about the boss being taken, but they realized quickly that Night Camp was only where Cloud9 was going to be going.
So there's a tribute, once again, for Team Naventic. The next tribute, Naventic will be 16. Cloud9 have to get back into this experience game, but it's a problem. 10 kills to 1. Naventic, they know they're close. They have momentum after that last game. They really brought it back. They surprised Cloud9 with that very aggro composition, and there is 16, Red.
They have achieved 16. Will we see any interesting talents coming out from these players? I want to know if it's going to be Hardened Focus or Benediction. Ken has been adjusting to that. They do have pretty single target damage, so he is going to be worried about that here when it comes to his pickup here. But you did say it, 16 tier advantage, Tribute's going to spawn. One thing to keep in mind, Tribute spawned in the bottom half. Cloud9's not going to be able to contest, and the boss is up on the upper half of the map. Are they going to opt in and take the boss instead? See, already teams are worried about this. Vala is now sitting down there, and everybody's rotating up, but Cloud9 has showed on the upper half, so they're probably not going to worry about it. I'm surprised Zuna is not capping and then flying.
Oh, he's flying in.
They just want
to
the fight
right away. iDream gets the face shield from Dunk Train. He's going to go down to the bottom. They might have been able to isolate Zuna, but she's taking quite a bit of damage from the Lightning Rod. Drag pulling Falstad in. Meanwhile, K1 Pro in the top gets taken out, the first one in there, and Zuna has stayed alive and is very, very healthy. King Caffeine running away, burrowing, waiting for his team to maybe get back, but they're getting farther and farther away. A second kill for Naventic.
And that is going to be a boss most likely going over to Naventic here. They're going to be actually not started. They're going to try and deny. I don't know if they can make this rotation. Keep in mind, Sylvanas was not able to disable dismount Muradin, so not getting the positioning there. Will McIntyre sniff out Arthlon? I don't think it's going to be the case. He will be able to get the free back there. Oh man, Naventic in such a pretty spot. 12 kills to 1. All I gotta say is I'm glad I took that wristband off.
Yeah, it's looking pretty scary for Cloud9 for sure. They haven't lost any keeps though. They're almost to 16. They could win a big team fight and try to start turning this around, but they're facing down a really scary game for them. There's no keeps down. There's no forts down for Team Naventic. Already a boss has been taken. They're on the back foot in the lanes. They really need to make something happen here with these 16s.
They really do, and a great job, I want to say, from Naventic. You see them constantly checking that boss to make sure their opponents aren't there, even when a giant camp's taken elsewhere. And typically, you wouldn't worry about that, but because the globals, like Brightwing, can secure the camp on her own and teleport, essentially fanning positioning. So I love that they've been able to control that so well, especially now that they are closing in another curse here. This is the fight. And I mean that in the sense that this is where Cloud9, if they fail this fight, this game is going to snowball so hard in favor of Naventic. I mean, obviously it already kind of is a little bit, but this is very much, if they do not do well, they could like game losing fighting here, so.
Right, because there's a boss up.
Oh my goodness, what was that?
Sylvanas gets caught, and here comes Fan. Gets hit by the Wailing Arrow though. Divine Shield at least used, but that allows Illidan to get right back into the fight. The Mighty Gust throwing people against the wall. Chaos Sauce drops. Brightwing will follow. King Caffeine.
Fan will survive.
Somehow survives.
this is a situation where you start the boss before you collect the trivia because it puts it in a situation where you gain maximum value out of the boss and it's going to be sieging up. But actually, while we do this, we're going to have a small replay happening here. And look at right at the gates, the position coming out from iDream, obviously leading to the death, but look at Zuna below. Barrel roll, gust into the wall. Where are you going to be going with that one, ladies and gentlemen? An immense amount of damage, and look at Van barely going to be able to survive the cleanse there and the dash out as well.
If I were to Hawkeye, I would not want to unburrow there.
I mean, that was...
In the middle of Naventic.
It was pretty awkward, you know?
Oh, so awkward. 16 will
Look
kill
at him
to
diving!
Oh.
Constantly! The false sense of security of the keep. I don't know if you remember this, Cloud9, but you, in fact, are cursed. Man, second time in a row, Savon is just face-checking 1 versus 5 here.
The boss still hasn't even gotten to this
They
point.
have 20. It's a 4-level lead at this point. They're posturing to go for the court. The 3-man gravity
That
lapse, though!
gravity lapse was insane! The wind tunnel pushes back the members of Cloud9. They don't get anything off of it. Kinma gets hit by the Phoenix, but still, full boss on the court. Shields dropping rapidly. Have they done it? Is this it? Does Naventic just 16-minute win this? They take out Volstad.
Is this risky?
Is this a throw or is it? Did they get it?
It's gonna be it. The boss is going down. Fan is so great at being able to kill the core, man. What for a best of 5 series? The